After living with COVID-imposed restrictions for 14 months, as the number of vaccinated increased, the light seems to be at the end of the tunnel and life can return to normal. Cynthia, Controller Peter Franchot has suggested this week that a tax break might encourage more people to get vaccinated. Is that a good idea?
Well, that was a good quip from the comptroller, but I just read on my Twitter feed that our governor has announced that the lottery, the Maryland lottery will automatically distribute $40,000 each day to a random Marylander who has been vaccinated into July 1st. So the governor has upped the comptroller. And actually, I prefer the shot and a beer that a lot of local breweries are offering. I think that's going to capture the demographic that has been slower to become vaccinated.
Phil, CDC now says that the vaccinated can go maskless in more situations. Did the science change, or did just more enough people get vaccinated?
Well, first of all, some of us have been going maskless almost the entire time. But second, no, the science hasn't changed because there is no science. Let's not forget that no one in the United States has ever seen an original sample of COVID-19. Not only would China not provide it to us, they admit they destroyed it. Therefore, everything we have is built on something that was uploaded to the internet by the Chinese. Therefore, no, the science hasn't changed. What has changed is finally our political leaders, Senator Rand Paul and others, caught Anthony Fauci and other leaders in the big lie that they have been perpetuating, which is that a lot of what has gone on is theater, and a lot of what they have done is simply an example of CYA. They funded this so-called research that created COVID-19. They caused a lot of trouble because they didn't understand what was going on, what they had created, and therefore we paid the price. That's the only thing that's changed. And but it's nice now. Thank you for allowing us to have our freedoms back.
Well, there were people getting sick, were they not? Now,
well, yes, Mark,
and it was spreading very quickly. Yeah.
Let's remember, every year there are plenty of viruses that go around. Many of them are coronaviruses and rhinoviruses, and people get sick from them. The difference between most years in 2020 is that we had no consistent testing program for them. We had no consistent reporting. We have people who die from pneumonia that's related to the common cold. We have people that die from pneumonia related to other coronaviruses. The difference again is in 2020, we decided to report and create a media frenzy over it. Again, if we don't have the original samples of whatever they claim came from Wuhan, how is it that we can tell exactly what is going on? Everything is supposition, complete supposition, and the so-called scientific community needs to be held to account for their failures and the misspending of the $6 billion that Anthony Fauci has every year.
I don't even know where to start with that.
Please start though. Go ahead.
That narrative. That is not science. That is conspiracy crap.
Conspiracy. If I tried to do this in science classes, Cynthia, you would have given me an F. Therefore, we should give Anthony Fauci a big fat F for his failure in so-called leadership.
Oh my Lord. I'm not even going to try.
Well, I got to ask you now, Cynthia, is Montgomery County opening up fast enough? Is it adjusting? We know where Phil is on that. That's for sure. Which is it never should have shut down, right?
That's right. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and then we'd be looking at more than 600,000 dead. We'd be looking at probably a couple million dead of COVID. To get back to the question that I was asked, yes, Montgomery County is adjusting. People are no longer wearing masks outdoors. People are gathering at restaurants and getting together. My social life has opened up considerably in the last month, but there are adjustments and there are times, especially for businesses like restaurants, that are still phasing in and trying to staff up in order to meet new demands. And accommodate their employees and clients at the same time. But it is going to mean adjustment, and there's a psychological adjustment for people who've been traumatized by the last 14 months. And some people will be more cautious as they adjust to the new freedoms.
What is there to be traumatized about? You spent 14 months sitting at home, ordering Amazon and talking to people over Zoom. There is no trauma.
There is the trauma
stuff like you trying to perpetuate here today.
Let me make my statement, Phil. There is the trauma of people who care about people who have died, whose children have been sickened, whose relatives have been sickened, whose friends have been sickened, people who are dealing with long-haul COVID, people who've been in the hospital, people who are who've been on oxygen in the hospital.
People die every day. People go on oxygen every day. It's unfortunate.
Well, this is a pandemic. Really this is not normal. This is not system normal.
Again, take me back to
well, I think we've got to stop right there, I think, and move on to our next topic. But obviously, we have continue to have a bit of a disagreement there.